here, the Scrivener, and today I'm going to be doing the end of the year book tag. I'm really excited that this is one of my favorite tags to do all year, and I'm going to jump right into it. The first question is, are there any books that you've started this year that you haven't finished yet and want to? So yes, there is a lot. I have an issue with reading a lot of books and not necessarily finishing them right away, especially if I'm reading them physically. I like to take my time, I like to make notations, and it takes a while, and I'm not always in the mood for that book, so I pick up another one, and it's an issue in my life. Anyways, I have 23 on my currently reading shelf. Some of those are from like a few years ago, which I'm still not determined to DNF. But the two that I thought most prominently on this that I really want to finish before the end of the year: Black Dog, Black Night. This is a collection of Vietnamese poetry that deals with a lot of issues, especially around the Vietnam War, which I really just feel very strongly about in the emotions and the way that its conversation has around it. I am trying to have influences from around the world as much as possibly as I write, and I think that poetry is one way that you can communicate emotions so well through language and cultural differences. And this book is really good. I think a fair amount through, almost done, but I haven't quite finished it, so I've been reading this since the spring. And then I think I'm equally excited to finish Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, and this is a book that is incredible. I've been wanting to read it for, I think, 2017 since on, and it is just incredibly, it's a domestic thriller that deals with a toxic love story and a one where a woman is obsessed with the ex-wife or late wife of her husband, and it is so beautifully written and deals with so many intimate and beautiful things. I don't know how to describe it well. I am, I think, about 70-80 pages in, and I'm really excited to finish this before the end of the year. I think that it could really rival one of my favorite books. It has to do with fall and transitioning into the end of the year. Fall has kind of come and went already here, but I picked this up in October, and this is Anne of the Island. This is the third book in the Anne of Green Gables series, and it deals with her in college, and it is one that has a lot to do with identity and her growing up more and coming into herself, and I am appreciating it so much more as I reviewed this at an age where I am similar to hers. And yeah, it has a lot of fall vibes. I think that Lucy Maud Montgomery's beautiful language and quiet mythology really always plays into that, and I can't wait to finish my reread before the end of the year. Question number 3 asks if there are any books that you are still waiting for. Not really anymore, but November was a big month for it. So these are all my library books of the new releases that I was really excited to come out, and I have started, and I'm sure that they are not read yet, so they still kind of exist in this pile, but not really. So the next question asks, what are 3 books that you plan on reading before the end of the year? I have a lot of aspirational books that I don't think I'm actually going to get to realistically, but 3 books that I know that I'm for sure going to read before the end of the year are: the first one is Spin the Dawn, and this is the first book by Elizabeth Lim, and it is a retelling of Mulan in the way that she's a magical, like, seamstress, and I think that's such an interesting take on it, and I'm very excited. I've heard really good things about it. The next book is Challenger Deep by Neil Shusterman. That has an exploration into schizophrenia, and especially since his son has that, it is a more personal look into what it is to navigate these different things with a lot of metaphors and stuff. I tried reading, I think, last year, but it was a little bit complicated to read without really paying attention, and I didn't have time to do that at a time. I really want to read more Neil Shusterman before the end of the year because I want to explore him as one of my favorite authors, because I absolutely love his writing, although I've only read one of his series, that is The Scythe, The Arc of the Scythe, so I can't really, like, completely qualify it because I want to read outside of that before I, like, confirm him as a favorite author. So I really want to do that before the end of the year. And then I also have City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert, and I'm really excited for this. I wasn't excited about it at first, but my friend Liz Cullen from The Lazy Booktuber really recommended it to me, and I trust her taste a lot, and I trust that it's something I'm really going to enjoy. It has a lot of, like, mid-century vibes and exploring oneself in New York and all of that, and I'm just very excited to get into it and read it. And then we have question number 5, which is a book that might shock you and become your favorite of the year. I think that most of the fall releases have that possibility, but the highest one I think would be The Toll by Neil Shusterman. I friggin' love this series. I just finished rereading of Scythe and realized, yes, this is definitely one of my favorite books of all time, maybe if not my favorite book of all time. So I think that this book, this massive chunker, could definitely fall into that for the favorite of the year. And the last question of the tag asks if you have plans for 2020 reading year. I definitely do. I think I have more like channel goals and stuff like that than reading plans, but I definitely have reading plans to read a lot more adult fantasy because that is where I'm writing in. And then I also am really excited to participate in the classic community kind of year-long readathon with Lucy the Reader. Classics is something that I absolutely love, and I think that they went on a back burner this year, and I was very sad about that. So I just really want to really immerse myself in the classics world, and every time I read them, I'm just reminded about how much I love them. But I am determined that I'm finally going to break out of my imposter syndrome and do the videos that I've always really wanted to do for my channel. I really like educational content. I want to do a lot more into genre and exploring different nuances of books and discussions around that, and I'm always don't feel like I'm the right person to do that, and it's 2020. I'm going to embrace this, and I really want to do that. So feel free to keep me accountable on that. If you just see like normal videos, be like, here, what you doing with your life? You need to make these videos. I'm really excited to do some like psychology writing videos, and I've scripted them. I'm just too ashamed to read them, and it's an issue. I need to get past it, and I've been here long enough. I'm a veteran, and this needs to happen. So happy reading and writing. I hope that you had a delightful 2019. I hope that that continues on, and I wish you a happy going into the holidays, and tell me what your favorite things, what your answers to these questions are, what books you're excited for 2020. Are you making reading plans? All of these questions, let me know. Happy reading and writing, and I will see you very soon.